Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 196 of the Sick Facts podcast. As usual, I am your host, Chris Lipscomb. I was going to say I am your Chris host Lipscomb. That wouldn't have been right. I am back from EGX this week after last week's pubcast. I hope you all enjoyed that. We're back to a more normal setting this week. Alas, Kev is not here because he's feeling a little bit under the weather, apparently. Oh. What a pussy. However, joining us this week is educator extraordinaire Lewis Gaston. Say hello, Lewis.
You alright?
And also with us this week, I am alright, thanks. Also with us this week is the former editor-in-chief of the sickfaxes.com and now something at Mystic Penguin Games. And what's your role at Mystic Penguin? Do you have a job title? Co-founder. Co-founder.
I don't know, like, director? I'm a director, but I'm just a game designer.
Game designer and director and co-founder of Mystic Penguin Games.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
Blair. You alright, Blair?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm not
Who
going to say
did you co-found it with?
My friend Graham.
Oh, I've never heard of Graham before.
No.
Have you made him up?
Yeah, definitely.
We are going to be talking about Mystic Penguin's first game.
No, it's Penguin.
I'm so glad I named it that. Just to...
No, you did. That's the whole reason. You were like, oh, this will annoy Chris in some way.
Yeah, this plan has been a long time in the making, but it's
the long con.
It's paying off.
I went to university for 4 years just to get Chris to say Penguin multiple times.
But first it's time for the news. Oh, there's no Kev, so... News! News.
Yes.
There will be Twitter later, but I didn't tweet that we're doing this podcast, so I'll do that.
Well, we can say Germanos said hello.
Podcast.
Let's do that while I'm doing the news.
So Germanos said hello. Pasky said hello. Chillhouses has said hello. Kevling is late saying hello, but he says hello.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it.
Let's see if it happens. First up in the news this week. One of the developers of the Stanley Parable has a new game out. We don't normally do game announcements, but it seems like a fairly big deal. Stanley Parable is a interesting and much beloved game. This new game is called The Beginner's Guide, and apparently it's a bit weird.
That's to be expected.
Yeah.
It's interesting how they announced it. They sort of announced it and then released it the next day.
Yeah,
I think.
Which is good. It's a good way to do it.
I've not seen anything about it properly, though.
It is from a guy called Davey Redden. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. And just looking at the screenshots, it looks like fucking weird.
Yeah, it's just screenshots. So, there's not a trailer of that, is there, floating about?
It's like, it's out, so I guess you could go play it.
Yeah. Is it on Steam?
Probably. That's how you buy PC games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just assumed we should talk about that briefly because it'll be interesting. You are correct. Johannes did say hello. Next up, we're going to go through this quickly this week. Oculus Rift is going to cost at least $300 when released. That's like a lot.
That's expensive, but I expect PlayStation VR to be quite similar.
I wouldn't pay £300 or dollars for it.
It's going to be about that. They're both going to be about that.
Mainly because I've just spent.
And you need either a really powerful PC or a PlayStation 4 to experience VR, basically. So that's another.
Yep.
However much.
Yep. Or whatever crazy shit Vive requires.
Is Oculus Rift compatible with PS4 then?
No.
I mean like PlayStation VR.
Oh right, I see.
For the Morpheus.
Morpheus
is going to be probably going to be about
Morpheus
the same
is much cooler. I'm still getting used to calling it PlayStation VR, which is
PlayStation VR is a terrible name.
Well, I think they just didn't want to make the same mistake they made with Vita.
Yeah, I guess. Morpheus is still a better name though.
Yeah.
And the Oculus Rift. They've all got fucking weird names.
They do.
I guess PlayStation VR kind of works because it's not a stupid name, at least.
Yeah, well,
not stupid, but weird, at least. It's not a weird name. It's a normal name.
Yeah, stupid names can break a product easily.
Yep. You think that is too much money, Lewis?
I do. Well, I don't know, to be honest. I've not played any VR to any great extent, so I'm looking forward to VR, and I think it will be really good. However, I think that's considering that's equivalent to a whole new console. It's it seems a bit steep, whereas it's supposed to be an accessory. You know, it's not.
Yeah, to be fair, it's inevitable because think of all the development time and
like
what it actually is like a huge headset with a screen and everything.
The worry I have is that it might be too much of a cost for most people. So you'll only get, the core gamers or the people that are really passionate about VR taking it up at the beginning, which may impact on how it's then developed for further.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Yeah. Look at me with a sensible comment.
Unless they do a bundle, they might do a decent priced bundle.
But the problem with a bundle is I already own a PS4. I don't want to buy another PS4.
But you're not going to get PC bundles for the Oculus Rift, really.
No.
So.
Yeah, but I don't want to buy another PS4 to get a better price.
Yeah,
that seems awkward.
To be fair, it does sound like the sort of thing PlayStation would do at the moment.
Yeah,
so another PlayStation, along with their 20th anniversary, their Destiny one, their Batman one, their Grey one.
Yeah, they're just trying to get existing customers to buy.
Yeah, should buy another PS4.
We got a PlayStation 4. I've got 10 of them.
One in every colour.
Yeah.
Final bit of news. You know how we have been mocking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 for several months on this podcast?
You've been mocking it. I've been trying to defend it.
Yeah, it's pretty indefensible at this point.
Yeah, I don't think you can defend it very much now.
It's actually
I did notice the other day, they released, I think it was the PlayStation Twitter account, released a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
And I noticed that they'd put a filter on it or done something to it that blurred the fact that it was cel-shaded.
Yeah.
So it looked like it was like a retro TV filter, so you couldn't definitely make out that it was cel-shaded. And I thought, have you done that on purpose, or
the only reason they did it cel-shaded is because people were like, "Oh, look at the jaggies on the edge of things."
Like this much,
and they're like, "We'll just put black lines over them."
They're like, "NTA, this thing is hard. Yeah. Let's just do this."
Or as Kev described it a couple of weeks ago, the bends in the clothes.
Yeah, that was me, I think.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah.
Bendy clothes.
But yeah, so let's check out the video in the link I just sent you.
I am on it.
It's yeah. So there was a patch that came out, a day one patch. Do you want to guess how big this day one patch is, Lewis? You've got that article now.
It was 4.6 gigabyte. I'm reckoning.
No, the game is 4.6 gig.
7. Fucking hell.
Yes, the patch is nearly twice the size of the game.
What's going on with this game?
That is not correct.
And the original game was just the original game was just the like tutorial and level editor. It didn't have any of the other levels in it.
Oh my God.
Which is amazing.
What? This man's going through the floor, and he's got Mars gravity, not Mars gravity, Moon gravity. Yeah,
it's great. Like that game is broken.
How is it so broken?
Just actively broken. It's amazing.
Yeah, that is shocking. That's
it's
like pain.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD might not have been like that great, but it wasn't.
It was
broken.
It was like it was a game you could play, because we were having this discussion in Slack earlier, and I was like, "There's a difference between
the engine or what?"
Yeah, there's a difference between a bad game and a game that you need to cleanse with fire. Those are two different categories of game.
Yeah,
the video I'm watching reminds me of Pain. It's like a ragdoll simulation rather than a skating.
Yeah, it's just really fucked, right?
Activision have finally acknowledged that as issues. They say, "We are aware of the issues that players have experienced following the launch of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 and are working with the developer to address these so we can continue to improve the gameplay experience for all the Tony Hawk fans."
The issue is that they launched the game. That was the issue.
About a year before it should release, maybe?
How does this not only... alright, fair enough that it clears Activision QA. It shouldn't, but
they'll get through plus.
Yeah, how is it getting through Platform Holder?
I've heard Sony
QA is quite nuts.
Yeah,
how is it clearing Platform Holder QA? That is ridiculous. Because it is broken.
Activision.
Although I wonder, maybe that's why the original game is 4.6 gig. Maybe those are the bits that aren't broken. And they patched in.
They patched
in the broken bits. That's if they have done that, if they've patched in the broken stuff, that is incredible.
Surely not.
This is a brilliant video, though.
It's just I'd like to point out
that's captured from within 1 hour of gameplay as well.
Yeah, and also Lewis, that is after the patch.
Yeah,
that is the patched game.
I don't profess to be a level designer or a coder or a game maker of any sort, but there seems to be a fundamental flaw with floors.
Yep.
And walls. and ceilings and half pipes and rails.
Yeah.
It seems like someone forgot to turn the colliders on.
Yeah. Like, well, the level looks good. Yeah, but that's fine. Let's release it. No, but I haven't actually. Oh no, too late.
I mean, I was trying to get my colliders to work in Unity today, and I got very confused. So I know it's not easy. So,
but it's like they've just done box collisions. Like
then you're not releasing a massive skating game, are you?
No, this was like the first day of development on a new thing.
Yeah. I think Tony Hawk's developers might be there with you.
Yeah. They just did. Well, we have 20% time at work. We get like 2 days a month to work on like side projects and do what we want. And maybe that's how Tony Hawk's Pro Skater worked. They were like, all right, guys, we've only got 2 days a month to make this game. Just get it out.
It's a 20% a month game.
Oh, Jesus. It's really like, how is the patch nearly 8 gig?
Yeah.
How?
That's quite special.
I would get really annoyed by that.
It's clearly
either
broken.
downloading it or getting the disc and coming home and then having to download something that's basically double the size.
Yeah.
Next gen, everyone. It's great.
Ugh, man. Right, time for what we did, I suppose. That's really taking the wind out of my sails. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I think it's because it's like the last time we're going to do anything on it. Like we spent a long time mocking.
I don't know. Maybe
game.
they'll patch it again. It'll get even worse.
Oh, that would be amazing if they patch it and it's worse. That would be how
just completely.
I can see them pulling it off though.
Yeah,
we'll just follow up the saga of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Yeah, it'd be amazing if they were like, "Oh, we're sorry, guys. It's even worse."
I wonder what the reviews are like.
Oh, let's find out.
Pretty low.
Let's find out.
I wonder what it is on Metacritic. Hopefully, it's better than Shadow of Mordor.
No, there's OpenCritic now as well.
Oh yeah, OpenCritic.
It's like Metacritic, but
it's got better layout, kind of.
It's got a better layout, and it's not like run by mysterious algorithms.
Yeah.
They're just like, we average numbers. Whereas Metacritic's like, we put some numbers and then there's a number at the end.
I typed in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 review, and the first headline that comes up on Google is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 looks like a dumpster fire on wheels.
It has
2.2 on Metacritic.
That's user rating though.
Yeah, I'm going with user.
And it's only got 2 reviews on Metacritic.
And they're 40. Oh no, they're user reviews.
But over on OpenCritic,
40 and 30.
OpenCritic, it is at based on 5 reviews, it's at 43.
43, which is seems quite generous.
Like, wow, that game is broken.
Yeah.
Just in the interest of giving a fully balanced view, somebody on the user reviews has given it a 10, saying it is a great game and it brings you back to the good old days. Any fan will be happy. It's a little clunkier than the originals, but overall it's a fun game.
I would also like to point out that the two best reviews for this are at equivalent to 5 out of 10. That is the best reviews it has on OpenCritic.
Yeah, and they didn't send code, I don't think, so those are like the early reviews.
Yeah.
Or they did send code, but
really late. Like our code's only just arrived or something.
I like the fact that Cheat Code Central have given it 30. But they're at
30 out of 10. That must be good.
Yeah, 30 out of 10. But their actual review of it is one line, and it simply says, "Avoid this one like the Black Plague."
Okay.
That's not free. That review is a 1.
They're saying the Black Plague is 3 out of 10.
Yeah, the Black. I mean, it's shit, but if there might be some benefits.
What redeeming features does
I've always said for a game to be like a 1 out of 10 for me is that it boots and that's about it.
That pretty much looks like what Tony Hawk.
And I was gonna say that Tony Hawk falls into that category in my opinion. But I haven't played it. This is just based on other people. So that is not the official TSA verdict. Aaron will be giving that because apparently he did something terrible and now he has to play that game. Yeah. So, oh boy, that's a bad idea.
Oh no. There's another 10.
Why would you give this game a 10?
Not only is it a 10, according to this reviewer, it is a masterpiece. The game is gorgeous, good graphics and gameplay. In my opinion, the best in the series. 10 out of 10. I do not understand people who put the estimate below. I don't fully understand the sentence, but
That to me feels like perhaps that was written by someone involved with the game.
I like there's also another 10. They've given it a 10. I'm not entirely sure for the right reasons, because their opening statement is easily one of the funniest games I've played this year.
I think that's a reasonable reason. That's
maybe
a good
think it's
reason to get it
intentionally
10.
broken,
Yeah.
like it's Goat Simulator or something.
Yeah, if it's
maybe it's like a spoof. Maybe it's like Airplane of the Tony Hawk's world.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's the first proper comedy game.
All right, anyway, it's time for what we did. What we did, but that's kind of how that goes, right?
Yeah.
I'll put real ones in.
That'll do.
Blair, what you did was you announced a game.
I did.
It's called Membrane, but you spelled
Membrane.
But you spelled membrane
Insane
wrong.
in the membrane.
I smell it. I smell it.
Smell it? You smell it?
Smell it.
Oh no!
It smells very wrong. No.
If you're smelling your membrane, then I'd go to the doctor because you're probably having a stroke.
So you've launched it. Well, you haven't launched it. You've announced the game that is spelt incorrectly.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake. Like looking back, I wish I could have fixed that, but it's too late now.
Yeah.
You know how you fix it?
How?
Put Z on the end. That'll make it cool.
Oh,
Membranes.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
the sequel.
That's
not zombies.
Yeah,
it's the zombie DLC.
That's the sequel, Zombies. Yeah, easy, done, sorted. Tell us about your game that is called Membrane but spelt wrong. That's how. I'm not going to tell people how it's spelt.
Yeah,
just that it's
got. I'm sure there's a Q in there somewhere.
It's like Irish. It's spelled like Siobhan.
Yeah. Your name is Chopin. Accept that your name is Chopin.
And anyway, let's not detract from the hard work that Blair has done.
Anyway, yeah, Blair.
Let's not already just shit all over it just because.
Yeah, tell us about your game then, Blair.
Too late. It is a first-person puzzle platformer.
Okay.
And basically, in each level, you've got loads of puzzles to solve, and you've got platforming to do, but you can actually edit the level while you're playing. So, say you've got to cross a gap, you can place down a platform in the middle of the gap and then get across, or you can put a jump pad down and use that to bounce yourself across, or there's like puzzles where you've got move cubes using launch pads and lots of different things that you can basically add to the level, and it's sort of like a jigsaw but in 3D, so you've got to add the missing bits.
I love jigsaws.
Solve the puzzle. But yeah, a jigsaw by way of a first-person platformer. So.
Oh, I hate first-person platformers.
I saw the trailer for it. I was very impressed.
Yeah. It does look really good, actually.
I like the color scheme, and I like.
Yeah, the color scheme was actually quite a recent addition. Like, we did a whole trailer and we were ready to launch, and it was like, basically it looked quite grey, and it was devoid of color, and I was like, right.
But I also like that though when you showed the screenshot of it being when it was glossy white.
Yeah, but
I like that as well.
As you said, it did look like an Apple store, so. So yeah, it's basically each sort of level is going to be a different color scheme, and it's going to reflect the mechanics you use in each level. So the sort of highlight color will be, you've got like a main color, then a highlight color, which is all the shiny bits, and then that will reflect like the main mechanic. Like you've got jump pads, which are blue, you've got launch pads, and those are green. So lots of different color schemes, and it should look quite good by the time we get to launching it.
Well, it does genuinely look good. Like, because you're my friend, I'm desperately trying not to take the piss out of you.
That's right. You're doing that by calling it Penguin.
Yeah, Mystic Penguin.
Exactly. I should be taking my vengeance, if anything.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Because like my knowledge of creating games is very limited. Like like Visual Basic. When I was about 6.
That's not a good language to make a game in.
It was very poor. You like the puzzle difficulty and stuff. Did you come up with the puzzles yourself, or is it like a computer generated solution, or did you actually have to sit down and work out the logistics of it all?
Yeah, sat down and planned out. There's about 50 puzzles at the moment, and we've still got a few months off release, so that might increase or decrease if some of them are rubbish. So, depends, like, once we get to playtesting and that. But, yeah, we came up just had to think about it logically, like sort of just made a room with the entire solution like completed, and then took bits out of it, and
I like that. Actually, that's a nice way of building it.
Reverse engineering
it was a good way of doing it, but some of the more complex ones, you sort of had to think about it more and think how this will affect this thing. Like in the later levels, I've got a really complex one where you've got to basically move cubes around the room to the other side of the room using like blink pads, which can send them up the wall. But you've got to do it in the specific order, but you don't know what the order is until you actually like stand back and look at the puzzle. So that was like quite hard to come up with. But some of the easier ones are just like basically taking away ways to cross the gap and then giving it to the player to add in. So it gets more complex as it goes on, basically.
Yeah. Cool. I was just wondering whether or not, because I always think with like puzzle games, whether people actually have to sit there and design them, or I know obviously some games do, but whether or not other games just have a computer to work it out.
I could have done it like procedurally generated, like if I'd just done it and then taken some elements out, but I don't think it would have the same like appeal. I think it would just be like each puzzle would be like, oh, there wouldn't be anything that surprises you.
No,
it would just be adding things to the level, like with the way I've done it. Yeah.
Be no human connection to it. You should have procedurally generated it and then called it No Man's Sky. That's what people are doing these days, isn't it?
I don't think they're just calling it every procedure generated game No Man's Sky. It will just get confusing if anything.
Oh, aren't they? Oh,
no. What they do is they procedurally generate the name as well.
Yeah,
that's why I spelled it wrong. It was all
Spiky Badger.
It was just done with an algorithm, and you were like, "Oh, stupid algorithm! I should have written this better."
Well, you use memory and brain power to solve puzzles. So
yes, you do. That's I can't
basically where it came from.
Does Insane in the Membrane feature in it? Did you manage to get the rights?
I think Cypress Hill would want a lot of money for that.
Instead, the music's all Tough Cub and that, innit?
Yeah.
He done it. Like that Music Man.
He did it.
He done it, yeah.
Yeah, Tough Cub's done a really good job with the several tracks he's done so far, and I just sent him more guidelines to like do the actual level specific music, so he's
that's cool.
Getting on with that. And like you can hear a bit of it in the trailer, but there's
I see. So Peter's involved, Tough Cub's involved.
Yeah.
You don't need any animated 3D logos or anything.
Not right now.
I'm just feeling I'm feeling unloved.
I know
Kev's already tried to, get a voice part.
Yeah. We've got the voice recording done, and unfortunately Kev didn't feature.
Isn't it someone Irish?
No.
It's Siobhan.
Scottish, they're Scottish.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know why I thought they were Irish.
Yeah, why would they be Irish?
I don't know. You're Irish. Why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, but I don't sound Irish.
Are you Irish? I don't know. That was just a thing I said.
I'm half Irish. Yes.
That was just some words that came out of my mouth.
You just made it up.
Yeah.
My papa is Irish.
I don't mean the things I say. I just say them. Yeah, but it is. I mean, I feel we've been slightly light-hearted to you because we know you, but it does look like a good, interesting game, and that's what was really interesting to me is actually how you constructed those levels. Like I would never have thought of that as the way of doing it, but that's actually a really
that was simple. For the early ones, but then later on it became something else entirely, and I was drawing out big charts, and
that's cool. But also, I don't
trying to keep it all together, and it's quite hard, like to do the later levels in the game. Like so many sketches and so many like different things. It wouldn't make sense to anyone but me. Like just hieroglyphics to everyone else.
But it's the same as like when you see the when they did that trailer for Super Mario Maker, and it all drawn out on graph paper.
Yeah,
and like you couldn't understand that if you weren't like Miyamoto, basically.
Yeah,
there's no way you can understand that. But it looks, it's a good game. It looks interesting. When can people play it?
People can play it in early next year. That is a time. Early next year.
All right, define early.
Very early. Like, see when people say early next year and then it's like June, I don't mean that. I mean like January or February.
All right, your dog agrees.
Yeah. Done. I also feel like we're missing an important part in that would you not appreciate people going to Steam to add the support so that it gets greenlit?
Yes, the main thing right now is the Steam Greenlight campaign. We're like 46% the way there to what we need to get greenlit, so we do need like hundreds and hundreds of more votes. So
yeah, but
if you've got a Steam account,
and you
then
can too.
Chris is going to put at the very top of the podcast.
I won't. I refuse.
At the very top, he's going to put
it will be
the
in
link
there somewhere
to the Steam
there will be a
Greenlight
link.
campaign.
Yeah. This podcast isn't going to be called episode whatever. It's going to be called the Greenlight.
Yeah, the Greenlight episode
podcast.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be called.
If you go over there and then you can either put yes please or no thanks, but
I don't know why you'd go click. Who is going and clicking no?
Yes please.
Who is going and clicking that? Who is that?
Quite a lot of people.
Quite a lot of people. Horrible people.
Yeah.
It seems like a pointless thing to click because it's like, well, even if it gets greenlit, you don't have to play it.
Unless the question is, would you buy this if it was released on Steam? So it's not like, is this good or is it shit? It's, would you buy this? Like,
I bet it's people from like other games in the queue.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I go through other games in the queue and just click yes to the ones that I find interesting in that. But
I thought you were going to say you just go through the whole queue and click
no. Downvote them all.
No. Oh, Membrane, I'll play that one. Only because it's spelt funny, though.
If you actually want to find it, it is spelled MEMBRAIN. Like memory and brain, like Rare said.
If you Google it, it might be somewhere on there. But there's another...
I will do that now.
But if you Google Mystic Penguin, you come up
if you Google Membrane, it's a lot of business software.
But if you Google Mystic Penguin...
Membrane.com, is that you?
No, that's
you are achieve consistent
software.
Performance in complex sales. It's not as...
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was this type of game.
Yeah, no, it's a boring management sim.
Membrane makes it easy for your sales team to execute your sales strategy. Yeah, I'm not going to green like that.
You're going to say no thanks.
Yeah. No. Loads of people have called things Membrane, though, so there's a good sign.
Yeah, well, not loads of people. No one in the games industry.
No, I just meant as a play on the word.
Yeah. And if it was just called Membrane the other way, I think it would get lost.
Yeah.
So.
Membrane game. Well, and it rhymes as well.
Not really.
It does. It does.
Shut up.
That's not how rhyming works.
You're not how
Membrane
rhyming
game.
works.
That works.
It sounds like... It's one of those combinations that sounds like it should rhyme but doesn't.
It does. Steam Greenlight Membrane. If you type in Membrane game, it's the second one down.
Second one down. The first one's an Android app, which is nothing to do with the game.
I'm going to... I've clicked yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, if everyone else could do that, then we might get somewhere. And
eventually
release it on Steam, and then you can pay money for it.
Lewis, what can you tell us about the Batman DLC? Because I understand you've played 2 bits of it since we last talked about Batman.
Right. So yes, I have played Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 1. I have played the Tumblr Batmobile pack, and then GCPD Lockdown is coming, or it might even be out. It says in September, and we're now in October, so might have to double check that one.
What's that? Yes, what's that one? The
GCPD Lockdown. That's with Nightwing, and you have to stop people from breaking into Gotham City Police Department.
How does Nightwing play?
Pardon?
Nightwing's a lot of fun.
Nightwing's fucking shit.
Really?
Do you not like? Oh no, I remember playing Nightwing. He's in the main game. Yeah, I like him.
He's all right. My main issue with the Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 1, because you play as Nightwing.
This sounds like you got strong views, Lewis.
Because up until now, it's been the perfect game. It's my game of the year. I've 100%ed everything. Got the platinum and everything. I'm very proud of my ability and progress, and also we've discussed before, I am top of every single AR challenge going, which I take great pride in, and I am Gotham's greatest between all of my PSN friends. So Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 1 comes out, and having been very pleased with all of the previous DLC, I was really looking forward to it. So you've got Catwoman, Nightwing, and then some Robin DLC, and then there's a level where you play as Robin and Batman.
Sure, you play as Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, or Robin and Batman.
No, Robin
the focus isn't Batman in this one, Chris. He's had his old game. This is now Robin's time, all right?
All right, fair enough. Sorry.
Jeez. My biggest problem is the fact that Nightwing, Robin, and Catwoman don't have a disarm move in their arsenal. And I'm fairly certain that Robin did in the Matter of Family DLC. But in this DLC, they no longer have a disarm. And for those who aren't aware of the game, that means that they can no longer take shields off of people and break them. They can't take guns off of people and break them, and they can't take cattle prods off of people and break them, which doesn't sound like a big problem, but actually when you're surrounded by 20 odd enemies, the disarm button, the disarm move rather, comes in extremely handy in order to eliminate that threat and make the challenge a bit more doable. So this time you're reliant on weaker characters, weaker set of moves, and it just doesn't flow, and it doesn't feel as natural as Batman does, and it just really winds me up. So Nightwing, he's got a DLC where you fight on the docks, and you just basically have to fight wave after wave of people. And with him, it's literally, in order to get a high score, because that's what you're going for, really. That's the whole point of it. In order to get a high score and then extra Gotham points, you're limited to basically attacking in a one button push move, and trying to create a chain that way, rather than being able to build up these really elaborate, fun, entertaining sort of combos. Robin's the same, and Catwoman, in Catwoman's DLC, rather than fighting enemies, because obviously she's not fighting the henchmen that the good guys are, you have to fight Riddler's robots.
That's reasonable. I hate those robots, though.
I quite like
the
them.
color schemes in that. It was really,
when you go from green and blue, and obviously she can't attack. No, sorry, red and
between
blue.
red and blue.
She can't attack blue. Batman can't attack red.
Yeah.
And
that was some fucking bullshit.
Yeah. So in the Catwoman DLC, you're fighting the robots, and she doesn't have the disarm thing again, which, like I say, I don't particularly think is a good move because it takes a lot of the fun out of it.
Yeah, the disarm stuff's just is enjoyable.
And it's part and parcel of being able to rack up the combo, and it is a challenge to be able to keep a combo, notice that you need to use the disarm, use it successfully, and then carry on your combo. So it's not like it's made it hard. It's not like it's because it's made it harder because I enjoy the challenge. It's just that it doesn't feel as good as it could be. So Catwoman, when you fight the robots, you get a certain number of waves of robots coming at you, and within the level are trigger points for all pressure pads, which will switch the colours of the robots. So you have to take out obviously all the blue ones or red ones or whatever ones she can attack, and then you have to try and, still keeping your combo, try and dodge and move to the other pressure pad to change the colour back, and that presents an issue because you can't move successfully from one pressure pad to the other without breaking your combo, because you can't attack, and if you do more than 2 jumps over someone, you lose the combo anyway. So I've got lots of issues with Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 1. I don't like it.
It's a really catchy name.
What, Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just really stands out. Like,
so it's CFCP1.
It's great. They've just gone really distinctive, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does what it says on the tin.
It does. So I didn't like it. To be honest, I've played them. I've gotten high scores and I've gotten good scores, but I didn't enjoy it. There were some extra Predator stuff which were good.
I'm not a big fan of the Predator gameplay.
Oh, I like the Predator stuff.
I can do it, but it's not something that I'd actively seek out, and like I'm much more enjoy like getting high combos and
See, that's why I love Azrael's Atonement. I think the best AR challenge is Azrael's Atonement because you can just rack it up all day. And
I think I got like 100 combo in that.
Yeah, and I think my record for that is 312.
That's impressive.
But it's just like I literally some days I come home and I'm just thinking I just need to play Azrael's Atonement.
Yeah, I just need to beat
the shit out of people.
Yeah.
And it is really because of the I've forgotten what it's called now. What do they call their fighting system? Free flow?
It's something like that,
Free flow. Because of the free flow and the impact and stuff, it really feels quite satisfactory. So on top of that, we then had the 2008 Tumblr pack. So from Nolan's Dark Knight, you have the Batmobile, and levels to go with it. And you got 2 levels. You've got, and then as per all the other DLC Batmobile stuff, you have a 1-lap level and a 3-lap level.
Okay, but you can't use it in free roam. It's only within those levels.
No, the tumbler you can use in the actual game now.
Yeah, because like most of the
but it doesn't have a battle mode, does it?
No, it doesn't have a battle mode, but you can still, but you can't use the 1989 Batmobile in the game. You can only use that in the AR challenges.
Wait, so you can use the tumbler in the game?
You can use the tumbler in game.
But what happens when you need to do battle mode stuff?
Then you need. It does say there's a disclaimer when you click it. It says this Batmobile doesn't feature the advanced weaponry that is needed in certain parts of the game. It doesn't matter for me because I completed the game. Twice, so I just have a look. But
there's no tanks left.
Does it like control the same, or is it?
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same, except you're just missing the battle mode. You still get the.
So it's just worse then.
You still get the lock on targets.
So they made you pay for something worse.
No, because I love the Batmobile stuff. You don't like it. I like it. But yeah, it's really, and it's really good to play it because it looks brilliant. You got all the sounds from the film, like of all the tires screeching and all that lot.
See, I'll tell you what disappoints me about the lack of battle mode, though, is particularly in the AR challenges. I actually like battle mode in the AR challenges for like certain
getting back
bits
on track quickly.
Yeah, and also like certain bits of close control. It's quite nice. Particularly, where like where the Riddler is alternating like he's got like alternating pattern of the blockade things.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to be able to just shift into battle mode and like shift yourself over one
like
and
turn around,
boom straight on.
The only problem with that is you've got you lose your time.
You do a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
see, I've never gone into battle mode in the check because I
found it useful.
I also basically had to do it to complete the last
for drifting as well.
No,
yeah, it's all right. It's useful. It's useful.
Actually drift in it, but no, I really like the tumbler stuff. And also it's also another 2 levels, but because you can play with the tumbler, the 1989 and the actual game one, you end up getting loads of more content. So yeah, I've really enjoyed the tumbler stuff. You got the original Arkham Batman skin free as well, which is just another
skin. I'm just not a fan of skins. Like, I didn't pay £30 to get different looking Batman.
No, that's a fair enough argument, but I like them because I like switching between them. At the moment, I'm the guy with red eyes.
Yeah, like that might make sense in an online game, I think, but when it's just you playing it, it's just the only person that's seeing it is you. You're not like showing off your
I'm fine if I'm getting like skins along with something else.
Well, the skins are free.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't object to like that's kind of what I'm saying. I don't object to getting skins here because you're getting skins along with the other stuff, and that doesn't bother me because then you're like, oh, cool. So I've got like a silly thing I can play about with, and then the actual content.
Yeah, the only thing is that I bought it like purely for the story stuff. Because they said there's going to be something like 6 story packs with like new characters and new villains and stuff, and I know it takes time, but the only one we've had of that yet was the Batgirl one, and it wasn't great.
No, you've had Red Hood.
Yeah, but those were like 10-minute things, and they were pre-order bonuses. They had nothing to do with the season pass. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's what I spent £30 to get, and it's been a bit disappointing so far.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I've enjoyed the AR challenges. I've enjoyed the what am I trying to say?
I've completely
forgotten. Yeah, I've enjoyed the Batman. Yeah. But that 1989 DLC stuff, I think that's worth it just on its own.
Yeah, I've not really played. I've just not had no interest really.
Batmobile. Yeah. No, I really really enjoy it. Looking forward to the GCPD lockdown. See what that brings. I'm just a bit wary of having to play as Nightwing again.
I just want like the new villain packs. Like there's talk of Ra's al Ghul coming back and stuff like that. Like someone looked into the files or something, did like data mined the game and found references to Ra's al Ghul. So
it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they're in the luxury position of having an absolute wealth of stuff that they can bring out and add.
Hopefully they don't just like repeat past games.
Yeah.
Like they can do that sometimes. Like I felt like which the second one, Arkham City, was a bit like the story was sort of too similar to the first one.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that one.
Hopefully they do it a bit different. Like they sort of did at certain parts of the night with a certain villain.
That was phenomenal. That was a phenomenal part of that game.
Yeah, I think they did that really well. They did that villain really well. Like the way it was different to what you'd seen in previous games.
Yeah.
So I hope they do more stuff of that, and it's not just like a repeat of previous segments.
But I agree completely. That villain is excellent.
Oh yeah. It's top notch writing, top notch gameplay, and all sorts.
Yeah, that was probably my favourite part about it.
The one that I would like to see make a comeback. I mean, the one I would like to see make a comeback or show him again as they did before would be the Mad Hatter, because I loved that section from whichever game that was.
Yeah,
the bits I have been disappointed in were the Scarecrow stuff, because I thought the Scarecrow stuff in Arkham City or Arkham Asylum,
the first one, Arkham Asylum, it didn't live up to that at all.
They were great, but then these ones just seem a bit more generic and a bit arbitrary.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so the Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 1, bit poopy. 2008 Tumblr pack, quite good. So yeah, that's.
So when's the next story one coming? Is Catwoman one?
You've got
like
Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 2.
Right.
So you've got the GCP Lockdown, which apparently is already out. So again, I need to check that.
Yeah.
And then you've got Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 2, which has more stuff.
Right.
Which doesn't sound appealing if number 1's anything to go by.
It's a shame.
But then there's nothing else listed on the DLC bit.
No, there's Catwoman story DLC in the next one, definitely.
Yeah, she's in Crime Fighter Challenge Pack number 2.
Mm.
No, actually, like an actual story one, like set after.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
The events of the game.
Which to me, that's the story that I would, depending on the pricing, but I'm probably going to buy just the story DLC.
See,
because that's what interests me.
That's what I was like, but I worked out if there's going to be like 6 story DLCs and it's like £6 each, then might as well get the season pass.
I suppose that's true.
And I wonder if they'll do like they did with the first one, like release it a week early. Like the Batgirl one sort of forced your hand by being a week early, and it was like, I might as well buy the season pass now.
Yeah, that's true.
The only thing I'm wary of is that it says when you buy the season pass, you get 6 months of free content.
Yeah.
Or content, obviously. So whether or not after that 6 months, your season pass is invalid, or you have to then start paying extra.
No, like I think everything that they've detailed will come out like no matter how long it takes them.
Right.
Like because they were pretty blunt. Like after the first confusion, like saying, "Oh, you're paying £33, but we're not telling you what you get," and then they came out and they were like, "Oh, there's a Batgirl, and then there's just 6 other sort of story ones."
Right.
With the new villains and stuff, so you will get that. Like even if development time takes a bit longer or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I would like to play as a villain.
I don't know if they'll do more beyond that. Yeah, that'd be quite an interesting take on it.
But let's move on from Batman. I went to EGX last week.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And we did a little pubcast. That was the podcast from the pub.
It was quite good.
Did you listen to it, Lewis?
Yeah.
Did you actually listen to it?
No.
You should. It's on the internet and that.
It's
like 8 minutes long.
Yeah,
is that it?
Yeah. I think the full thing with like intro, outro, and like music and that is 10.5 minutes.
Oh, I will listen to it then.
Yeah. It's very listenable too.
The only reason I didn't is because I just thought it would be people talking about things that I didn't witness, and it would be noisy. And
it's
a bit noisy, like but it's not. You can clearly hear what everyone's saying.
7 out of 10, I'd say.
Yeah.
Chris.
I very much like how clearly drunk Teth is at the start of it. When we talk about Clifford the Big Red Dog, it's a very important subject. He's big and he's red. It's a problem.
Yes.
Who was there? Because I saw you post a picture and there seemed to be shitloads of people around the table.
Christ. Yeah, so
is it from that pub?
No, so we went. That was at Pizza Express.
Okay.
The picture was from Pizza Express.
Oh, right, okay.
We went to Wetherspoons to go to the pub.
Okay.
Right.
There was like 13. No.
Yeah, it's quite
12, 13 people, something like that. Last year was 20 though. I'm pretty sure last year was 20. So it was slightly less than last year, but it was still too many people. Realistically, I am an idiot for organising that many people to come to a place. It's
not
really
the first time though, is it? You've got a history of inviting people.
It's like the fourth time we've
to podcasts.
Oh well, yeah, that's a different thing entirely.
Oh yeah,
this is like the third or fourth time we've done a big meal, and it's always incredibly stressful to arrange every year.
Yeah.
I'm
fine about it because you didn't go for Mexican food.
No, so it's alright.
Like,
really,
if you had gone for Mexican food, I would have been extremely upset. But
Mexican
you went
food
for
is
pizza,
good.
so
the game I'd really like to talk about anyway from EGX, aside from food and pubs, is
was it Membrane?
It wasn't Membrane
there.
because Membrane didn't get in, Blair.
No.
So I would really like to talk about Homefront Revolution. I think we can all agree that Homefront, the first one, as it's now known, is not a good game.
I thought it was quite decent, wasn't it?
From what I hear, I've got it, but I haven't played it all the way. I played like a little bit. Well, I think it's generally agreed that it had some good ideas, but didn't execute them particularly well.
It was just a shooter with some good ideas.
It's as I'm literally talking to because I did an interview with them, which we're going to put the site on at some point. With one of his name was CJ, I believe he's the narrative coordinator or something. Basically, he wrote it, I think. He's got like a fancy name that means I did the writing in that, didn't I? Cool. But he was talking about it, he said the kind of problem with the first one was they talked about being this big guerrilla fantasy, and then you're playing a corridor shooter. Yeah. And if there's one thing guerrillas
you didn't give the scale.
Yeah, but the thing as well is guerrillas aren't really known for their rigid mission structure. It's not what you think of when you think of guerrilla combat, really, is it? So this one is a big open world. It's sort of a big open world. It's what is it? It's like a green zone in the middle. I think he said 3 or 4 yellow zones and 4 red zones. It might be a slightly different number of yellow zones. Right. But essentially, this time, instead of playing on the West Coast like you were in the first one, you're playing on the East Coast in Philadelphia, which is now the stronghold of the North Koreans. This is also like a soft reboot to the series. Okay. So it's a lot of the same.
You could say it's a revolution.
You could, but you wouldn't. That'd be a terrible idea.
I know.
So it's a lot. It's the same kind of ideas, but some of the elements of how the invasion took place are different, and those kind of things. So he was very clear that it's the same concepts and ideas, but it's not exactly the same story. Okay. So you don't need to have played Homefront to play it, and it's its own thing. It's like this is a new game, and it is different, and we kind of, I wouldn't say deliberately, but they are distancing themselves from the first one to some extent. It's not like fucking don't play that first one. It's not like that, but they are like, this is our thing now. This is a different thing. It's interesting as well because CJ, who I talked to, actually worked on the first game as well as writer on that, I believe. But yeah, it's different. What I really like about it is how it is a real guerrilla fighter game, which I can't think of a game which has been like this, where the point of a firefight is you don't have to stand and fight. Running is an option.
Yeah.
Like, hit and run raids in this are a valid option. In fact, they are probably the preferable option.
That's interesting.
Like, there's right at the beginning, you this like right at the beginning of the demo they showed, you literally have a convoy coming down the street, and there's a barrel trap set up, which is basically a bunch of barrels that are set on fire, and you release them, and they like
barrels.
Oh,
okay.
Like oil drums.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. Oil drums, but oil drums that are filled with oil, set up on this thing, and you pull the lever, and they set them on fire and dump them on top of like a armored personnel carrier, and it blows up, and you can then quite easily take out like the rest of the people in that squad. But then backup arrives, and it starts to escalate more and more, and literally one of the NPCs goes, "Okay, let's withdraw. We need to run," and you just leg it. You just run away from it as fast as you can. And that is kind of the idea here. And I really like that as a concept.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting approach.
Like, it's a really good point. Like, you're a ragtag like band of people with kind of improvised weapons and stuff up against a high-tech military force that's got like armored vehicles and drones, and in some of the other areas of the game, because the only stuff I played was in the red zone, which I'll talk about a little bit in a minute. But they've got drones and surveillance and snipers and all this stuff, and you don't have any of that. So, like, standing your ground is a fucking stupid idea.
Because you're
gonna die.
Sort of rebels.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting the Empire.
But the core idea, it's a little bit like Baghdad, in fact, in that there is the green zone, which is where all the North Korean officials live, and it's really secure, and it's high surveillance. And although it's not going to be like you only go there in the climax of the game, it's not that kind of thing, but it's not a place you go a lot because it's not easy to operate there as a guerrilla, just because it's so high security, and you'll probably just get killed almost instantly if you do anything out of the ordinary. And you need to have like all the correct credentials and paperwork, etc., to get in there. Which makes sense. Like, what I really like about the fiction of this game is it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So the yellow zone,
it makes sense within a gameplay context as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a couple of bits I want to talk about with that as well. So then the yellow zones are kind of what they would describe as the suburbs. Like, it's not a great living situation, but it's the kind of place where people are still living day-to-day life. So it's not what we would consider suburbs now.
Okay.
But it's still a place you can...
slums, kind of? Or is it...
Like, slightly up from slums.
Okay.
So to an extent, think of almost any dystopian movie you've seen, and it's kind of like that. So it's not necessarily slums, but it's also not like a place where you are happy and free. But on the other hand, people are still living there. People kind of adapt to stuff, you know? They adapt to the occupation force because they don't want to get shot. Yeah. So there's people like doing... He said at one point there's people like doing Tai Chi in the park and stuff like that. There are people living their lives. It's not always great, but there are people there. And then the red zones are basically no-go areas. They're like the bombed-out remnants on the edge of the city, and they're like... A lot of them seem to be industrial zones where they've been crippling like the American industry.
Like, have they got stuff in them, or is it more of a wasteland?
There's stuff in them, but it's like bombed out buildings and that. So like people don't live there. They're a complete no-go area. And while like in the green zone it's very secure, and in the yellow zone like you might get frisked or you might be asked for your papers and stuff. The red zones are if you're into a North Korean patrol, it's shoot on sight. Because you're not supposed to be there. Like, no one is supposed to be there.
This sounds like a sort of Hunger Games situation.
It's not a Hunger Games situation. It's more
like
just...
that kind of world with the...
Oh, actually, no. I see what you mean, that kind of world. Yes, it's like that. Yeah, that's probably quite accurate, actually, to an extent. But a lot more contained than it is in the Hunger Games.
Right.
Because this is just in Philadelphia, this particular setup. And in the red zone is where they describe they describe it as the guerrilla fantasy. That's where you're like moving from building to building and taking out patrols on the run and that kind of thing. So that's quite cool.
Is it kind of like Far Cry style, like taking outposts and stuff?
It's a little bit, but here's what I find really interesting with it.
Okay.
So you are taking outposts, but it's not like in, say, Assassin's Creed. Because in Assassin's Creed, if you take one of the towers or whatever, that bit of the city is in like yours.
Yeah.
That's not how this game works because that makes no sense.
It's nice to see a different approach.
Yeah, because if you think about it like logically, even in like the game world, that makes no sense as a conceit. They're like, oh, you took that tower, so this whole section's yours. You're like, but they're still the occupying force.
Yeah.
Like, why would they fuck off? So what it is here is you take one of those things and you will gain support in that little area.
Right.
Bit like Far Cry.
I guess it is a little bit, but I haven't played. I can't say how much.
Just Cause.
Not quite like Just Cause. It's sort of like Just Cause, but in Just Cause, if you take the base, then the base is taken.
Yeah,
like it's your base.
But you also liberate posts, which then give you support in that area.
Yeah, but this is more. So basically, what it is like you will still get patrols running through there and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is what I found quite interesting. Is he said there's one example he gave me, which is a great example, is there's like a T-junction, right? And in the building on the T-junction, so it can see all three roads, there is a sniper's nest of North Koreans, and that's an outpost you can take. I think they're called, I can't remember what they're called, but they're not called outposts, they're called something different. but you can go and take that, like you kill the snipers, you claim it for yourself, and then you install your soldiers in there. So North Koreans will still patrol in that area, but the next time you encounter a patrol there, you've got backup in that building as well. And I just think
it's like Far Cry.
Maybe it's like Far Cry. I haven't played Far Cry.
Yeah, Far Cry 4, you could just sort of call backup from if you'd taken a base over, like the good guys went in there.
So it's not quite like that because you're not actively calling backup. Like these are all NPCs who exist in the world, and all the guys on your side have their own missions they're doing. So you can bump into other people on your side. You can bump into other guerrilla fighters who are doing their
online?
No, these are all NPCs.
Okay.
So you can bump into other NPCs who are off doing their own missions for the revolution, and you can like help them if they run into North Korean patrols, which it just happens naturally. And that's kind of what I like here, is it's all natural. Like, everything you come across is like
sort of emergent gameplay.
Yeah, you're coming across stuff that it's just like, there was a patrol here because there was a patrol here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really obvious set patrol routes or anything like that, because that's not how military patrols work, because that's how you get killed if you're in a military patrol.
Well, you play a stealth game, and you always know the routes of the people in that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's different.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. So you will just come across like a patrol and you're like, oh shit, there's patrol. But there's a great bit that I discovered this quite early on, is you get a bike early on and there's loads of bike caches around. So you just get it's basically like a dirt bike type thing.
Right.
But what you can do with it is, one, they've designed the city in such a way that kind of most places you can get to on foot, you can get to on the bike as well. So there's lots of ramps and stuff.
Is there
quite cool.
Rooftop biking?
Yeah, so you can get onto, and they said they've taken a lot of inspiration from the Trials games. So the suspension's like quite spongy suspension and that kind of thing, which is nice.
So it's quite fun.
Yeah, it is really fun to play.
That's good.
And the other thing with it is, like I was saying earlier, you can hit and run. If you run into a patrol, you can just ride straight by them as fast as you can, and because you're in a bike and they're in like a big armored personnel carrier, they can't follow you. Which is, I really like that. That's a great option. Like you're just, because I saw it, I was like, oh shit, that's a whole patrol. It's like a 4-man patrol.
So can you play the entire game as a pacifist?
No, because you have to kill people for certain missions.
Yeah.
But it's just like, that's a really nice idea. The last thing I'll say about it that I really liked as well was the Guerrilla Toolkit, which is you have basically a bunch of stuff that's not weapons. So you have like, I guess it's a weapon, but it's not like guns. So you have like your Molotovs, and you have like IEDs and stuff like that you'd expect.
Yeah.
But you also have stuff like an RC car with explosives strapped to it. And you have firecrackers to make like a distraction.
Yeah, so sort of like home built stuff.
Yep, and you also have a thing I really like, which is like a grenade that hacks drones for you. So it will hack, like if you throw it.
How did they get that?
Well, because you've got like people who know technology on your side as well.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Well, so just like you were saying, sort of things like RC cars with explosives strapped to them. I was just imagining it being quite low technology.
It is reasonably low technology, but But on the other hand, like you don't have to be super high tech to have it. It basically, it's not like you don't take control of the drone; it just flips the drone to your side.
Right.
So it's not like, oh, I've got complete.
So just like a scrambler thing. Like
basically it scrambles it and just flips friend and foe around, and that's all it does. So that's all quite cool. But what I really liked is you can combine any of those elements together.
Right.
So you can put like the hacking thing and bolt it to your RC car and drive it over somewhere. Or you can put Molotov cocktails on top of your RC car. Or you can get like the IED and strap a Molotov to it. So you've got like a remote explosive incendiary.
All right.
And all these kind of things. It's a really nice idea. And you can even take the IED. This has been done in other games, but it looks really nice in the game. Like you can do some, I think you can do this in Battlefield. You can take your IED, strap it to your bike, and then ride along jump off your bike and your bike keeps going, and then just blow the IED, and it like will take out soldiers and stuff. So it's got. I mean, I know other games have done that, but it just all feels like it just flows together really well.
Yeah.
It's just one of those games that feels like they've really thought about how all the gameplay is going to work, which a lot of open world games don't do.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5 did that well
yeah.
too. Like all the different things that you could combine and different approaches you could take.
It's just really nice to be able to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
One of the other things I will say is as well, when I talk about it being a big open world, so it is so they were very careful in how they phrase this. It is one continuous open world, and there are ways to make your to get between the various zones. But you'll see it like each zone is surrounded by like a 20-30 foot high like reinforced wall, so you can't just easily traverse between zones, kind of thing. So how you get between zones is there's like underground tunnels. So it seems to be more of a case of okay, I am in like this area, kind of like Assassin's Creed 3 was a bit, in fact. Kind of like, okay, I'm in this open area now, and then I'm going to switch to like the next open worldy bit.
Right. Okay.
So it is technically one continuous
so it's
open
like
world.
Open area, like kind of Borderlands style.
Yeah. So it's technically one whole open world.
Yeah.
But you're only playing in like one bit of it at a time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair enough.
It works well. Like it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes you don't need a big 4 billion square kilometer size
well,
map.
I think the two things with it are, one, it kind of helps you tell the story a bit more easily, and two, like it stops you feeling overwhelmed.
Just as long as it doesn't do it as once you've done this bit, go to the next bit, go to the next bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that. It seems from talking to them, it's a lot of you're moving between like red and yellow and occasionally green. You're moving like back and forth between the different like bands, and then also the different particular areas quite a lot.
Yeah.
So like the particular areas within each like green, yellow, red zone, there's like I said, there's various areas within them. It seems to be you're moving back and forth between them quite a lot, which is nice.
Sounds good then.
It just seems well thought out. It's also got the kind of this is definitely in other games quite a lot, but it works here because of how it's done. In that you've got like each area has got a stronghold bit, but doing it will make, like, from what I understand, if you take out that stronghold, it makes other bits of the game easier. So there's a stronghold that is pumping poison gas into the subway system. And so obviously if you take that out, then you can use the subway tunnels as well now, because there's no one like pumping poison into them. So it, like, other games have definitely done that, but it all fits together quite nicely with the world they've built. And that's what I really like with it, is it just feels like they've thought about how this would work realistically, rather than a lot of games where they're just like, oh cool, yeah, it's this gameplay element, this gameplay element, this gameplay element, and you don't really think about how they fit together well.
So it actually feels like a world rather than a sort of
it's a world rather than a series of systems.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a good way to describe it, actually. Like, a lot of games seem like they've built a bunch of systems and layered them on top of each other, and this feels like they've built a world, which is nice. Like, every...
And then fitted them in where they can, rather than forcing them...
Yeah, exactly. Like, elements genuinely feel like they complement each other and all make... Like, they all feel like they've got logical connections to each other, which a lot of games just don't bother doing, in my opinion. Like, they just don't make a lot... Even Batman's got issues with that.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, hey, we did this, this, and this. Like, there's a tank now. You're like, it doesn't seem like that makes sense with the rest of the game. But okay.
You shut your mouth.
Come on, the tank doesn't make a huge amount of sense.
What tank? What, the Tumbler?
Batman.
It does.
Not if you've played any other Batman game or...
Yeah, it's the natural progression. In order to be able to do the missions and go underground and all that lot, he needed the next step. You leave the tank alone. There's no point.
It feels like someone...
Perfectly viable character in the game.
It feels to me like someone at Rocksteady went, hey, it'd be cool if we had a tank, and then worked around that.
No. I won't hear it. I won't have it.
You know that's true. That's definitely exactly what happened with that game. Someone else was like, oh, it'd be pretty sweet if we had a fucking tank. Doesn't everyone likes tanks? I imagine that's how their meetings are as well.
Yeah. Someone just rolls up in a tank.
Right, it's question time. Let's do question time. It's questions.
Question
time.
Oh, Jesus, right. Oh, Jesus. Well, good to Twitter hellos as well, quickly. Draz says hello. Obviously, Justin says hello. Kevin says hello.
He was late, like I predicted.
So, Kevin would like to know...
It's not gone out till Monday, so he's still...
That's true.
Still done pretty well.
Yeah. Kevin says, should I play Destiny or Elder Scrolls Online tonight? But I'm not going to give an answer tonight, so this is for whenever you listen to this.
I've already given him an answer.
What did you say?
I told him Elder Scrolls, and then Jamanos said Destiny. I told Kevling to ignore Jamanos and go with Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
So Elder Scrolls then.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls.
Actually, maybe it'll be Monday now, so Destiny tonight. You already played it, Elder Scrolls all weekend.
That's true. Peter Chapman says, over the course of 3 tweets, why, oh God, why, oh dear God, why? Because is always the correct answer to that. Jasnam, who saw me at EGX, but I didn't see him, and said he tweeted me on the first day of EGX saying, I think I saw how pro he looked a little bit lost, which is my default state. Anyone who's met me knows that. He said, just tweeted me saying, are you found yet, Chris? No.
No.
I don't know what I'm doing ever.
Where are you, Chris?
God knows. Matt, who writes for TSA, would like to know... he would like to know what the meaning of life is if you guys are just handing out answers. Jamalis has suggested it's Destiny.
I've already answered this one for him as well.
What have you suggested?
The answer was clearly Spice Girls.
Solid. I think
he did say somehow I thought I always knew. And then I had a sudden realization that given their song titles, there is a genuine argument here. We've got Two Become One, which leads you to become a mama. And then as you grow up, you start to want to be, you start to become a wannabe. Right. Then you have a midlife crisis and need to spice up your life. And then it's, why, Jerry, why?
Spice up your life, everybody. Spice up your life.
That got dark quickly.
People of the world, spice up your life. Oh, hold tight.
Wow. You could have been a Spice Girl.
I couldn't. I'm not a girl or spicy. So it's real issues with it.
Neither were they. The singing was spot on though for the Spice Girls. So
that's true. They were girls. They've got that over me. Well, they were women, but it still counts. Right. If we've got anything else we want to talk about, or shall we do it?
Can we talk about the devastating effects of...
No.
Okay.
Did you have anything else you want to talk about?
I saw The Martian, but
no, because I want to see that.
I think that's gone. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
This is England 90 ends on Sunday.
I'm
very sad.
See, the thing is, I've not watched any of the previous ones, so...
Have you watched the film?
Yeah.
What ends on Monday? The what?
This is England 90 concludes on Sunday. Okay.
But I've not seen any of the other series.
Right.
Like
get on it.
Oh wait, Blair.
But I don't know. Are they on 4OD or are they?
I would think so.
I've been watching...
Rewatch the film, because it's one of the greatest films ever made, and then watch the TV series because they're one of the greatest TV series ever made. Last Sundays made me cry a lot.
Okay.
More importantly, Blair.
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who has been...
Does anyone watch that anymore?
Yeah, me and Blair watch it.
Yeah.
I gave up with the first...
so far.
The first couple of episodes with
Better than
Capaldi.
It's been for a good couple of series.
I would say Capaldi... Yeah, if you didn't like Capaldi in the last series, which I liked him, but I wasn't 100% sold on him, he is much better in this series.
I also don't like the fact that it's all the same. It's the Daleks again. You think, well, come on.
Yeah, 2015. It's different.
Get some new people.
I think they have to do the Daleks once per series. I don't know,
there's some guy
I think there has to, in the contract there has to be.
Really?
Yeah. It's because they don't own the rights to it. Someone else does.
At least they did them really well this time.
It's something complicated like that. Yeah, it was nice. It was also nice. It was one of those nice kind of history of the Daleks ones where you saw like old Daleks as well, which is quite cool. Like there's Daleks from like
rusty ones.
Well, no, there's Daleks from like classic Doctor Who episodes in there as well, which is quite cool. And I think it's the first time we've seen Skaro in the new series as well.
Yeah,
since they rebooted Doctor Who. Well, not rebooted, but since it restarted in 2000.
No, it was in one of the Matt Smith ones.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, it was the other Daleks.
The war one.
Yeah, the Asylum of the Daleks.
Oh was yeah, is that? No, that's not on Skaro. That's on like a big space. Not. That's on like a big spaceship.
It was a planet we're on.
No, that's the Asylum of the Daleks. Yeah, no, but all the Daleks, the Parliament of the Daleks in that episode is in a big spaceship, and they drop them on the Asylum of the Daleks, which is not Skaro. It's a different planet. Hang on. It is a different planet because it's got like a whole planetary like defense system surrounding it.
Yeah,
and that's clearly not Skaro. I'm sure this is the first time Skaro has appeared.
Yeah, no, he went to Skaro and Asylum of the Daleks.
Does he go to Skaro?
Yeah.
I beat you.
But the Asylum's not on Skaro.
It was he went to Skaro when it was like all destroyed and that.
Oh yeah, he does.
That's where they captured him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you do see Skaro for like a minute.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long.
Yes. Okay.
You need to say you were right.
No, I think you were right, Lewis.
Missy is a very good character as well. They've done
Missy is
really,
great.
Really well. Yeah.
Like what I like this week as well, and we won't talk about Doctor Who for very long. This will be it. But I said this to you, Blair.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've ever really seen the Master as the evil version of the Doctor.
Yeah, like actually using the Doctor's sort of methods.
Methods and like general kind of.
What do you mean he started shouting at people in a loud voice?
No, but the kind of cliches you get around the Doctor and
like cheap escapes and
and working with a companion and stuff.
Yeah,
and like always being smarter than the companion, except the difference being that Missy is perfectly willing to use Clara as like bait and stuff like that. And basically, he's just at one point. You know the thing where you like throw a rock down a pit to find out how deep it is?
Yeah, I did that just today.
But you know, like you see it in TV shows and stuff all the time. So Missy just pushes Clara down it to find out how deep it is. Pushes her down and just stands and listens, and she goes, about 20 feet, which is lovely. It's just a great moment. But that's what I really like this week is the Master actually as the evil version of the Doctor rather than he's just like an evil Time Lord. Like it's
Time Lady.
Yeah, Time Lady at the minute. But it's nice to see like the actual inverse for once, which isn't something we've really seen a lot before.
Yeah,
which is quite cool. Yeah. Rather than being a megalomaniac, he's trying to take over the world necessarily, which is good. I just really like it.
It's been, well. Yeah, hopefully it keeps up. And
also, this next episode's got ghosts in it and looks super scary. Looks absolutely fucking terrifying. Right, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the podcast. That's all we got. No Kev. Kev was tell us about a game, but now he's ill. What a shame.
Oh well.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can tweet us at TSA Podcast. You can email us at podcast@sickfaces.com. You can give us a comment on thesickfaces.com on the podcast post. You can go to YouTube and leave us a comment there. I don't think anyone has. I don't think anyone's ever commented. But people do watch it on YouTube. Like, they get views.
I don't.
I know you don't. You get, like, the audio before anyone else.
Yeah, I know. That's where I listen to it. That's where I get my shiz.
Yeah, you're on it.
Yeah, but I like to just see how I come off.
Are you writing down bits you like about yourself every week? Oh, that's a good thing I said there.
I'm my own PR department. No, I just like to something to listen to on Sunday afternoons.
If you'd like to get old episodes of the podcast, you can go to thesickfaces.com or YouTube. If you'd like to get hold of us personally, you can get me on Twitter as HalPro. It's HALB Pro. You can get Blair at My Name Is Blair. You can get Lewis as Lewis Gaston. That is going to do it, though. So say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, that's the classic joke, isn't it there, Blair? You've done well.
I know. I had to.
Because you see, I told you to say goodbye, everybody, and you literally said goodbye. Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
That's great.
When I do this, you moan at me.
I know, but I'm in a funny mood.
Lewis, I'm good at it.
Yeah. Oh,
I can pull it off.
I didn't mean that. I meant what Chris is doing when I explained the joke that is clearly very easy to understand.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not going to complain about what I'm doing.
You should be.
No, I'm great. Bye.
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 The Sixth Axis Podcast.